You can usually tell when someone has started respecting themselves more, not because they become arrogant, not because they suddenly act better than everyone else, but because their energy changes quietly. They stop chasing attention, stop tolerating certain behavior, stop needing constant reassurance from people who barely value them, and without saying much, they begin carrying themselves differently, because self-respect affects more than confidence. It changes your boundaries, your decisions, your relationships, and even the way people respond to you. Today, we're talking about how self-respect transforms emotional energy, and why people begin treating you differently once you stop abandoning yourself. Whether people admit it or not, they pay attention to what you tolerate. If someone constantly disrespects your time, crosses your boundaries, or only shows up when convenient, and you continue accepting it repeatedly, that pattern teaches people something. It teaches them, this behavior is allowed. But self-respect changes that dynamic, not through aggression, through standards. Emotionally healthy people stop over-explaining why basic respect matters. They stop begging for bare minimum effort, and honestly, that shift becomes visible. Because once someone values themselves more deeply, their presence starts communicating. I know what I deserve. Without needing to announce it constantly, a lot of emotional suffering comes from staying too long in situations that damage us, not because people are weak, but because loneliness, attachment, and hope can cloud judgment. However, self-respect slowly changes what people are willing to stay connected to. You begin leaving conversations that feel disrespectful, creating distance from people who constantly drain you, choosing honesty over emotional games, and making decisions based on peace instead of fear. That doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. It simply means you stop betraying yourself to maintain connection. And that emotional shift changes everything internally. Because self-respect is not just how you speak to others. It's how you stop negotiating against your own well-being. If you've been learning to choose yourself more lately, comment. Self-respect first. Because sometimes growth begins the moment you stop accepting less than what feels healthy for your mind and heart. And in the next video, we're closing this series with a conversation about validation, emotional freedom, and finally feeling enough without outside approval. Many people chase confidence through attention, compliments, relationships, or social approval. But those things create temporary emotional highs. Self-respect builds something deeper. It creates inner stability. You stop depending on external reactions to define your worth every day. And because of that, you move differently. You stop shrinking yourself to avoid rejection. You stop proving your value endlessly. You stop feeling desperate for connection that lacks reciprocity. There's a calmness that develops when someone finally understands. Value does not disappear because someone failed to recognize it. That mindset changes the way people carry themselves completely. One of the most powerful things about self-respect is that it naturally filters relationships. Some people disappear when they can no longer manipulate your kindness. Others become uncomfortable when boundaries appear. But healthier people usually respond differently. They respect clarity, consistency, honesty, because emotionally mature relationships survive through mutual respect, not emotional control. And over time, self-respect creates space for healthier connection to enter your life. Connection. Where effort feels mutual, communication feels mature, and your nervous system no longer feels constantly overwhelmed. That kind of peace becomes very difficult to trade for temporary attention again. At some point, people stop asking, how do I make everyone choose me? And start asking, why was I abandoning myself just to feel chosen? That question changes everything. If this video connected with your own journey recently, leave a comment. Choosing myself. I always appreciate hearing what parts stayed with people the most. And next time, we're ending this series with something deeply freeing. Your life changes when you stop needing validation. Because emotional freedom begins the moment your worth stops depending on outside approval. See you in the next video.